Hey guys, I wanted to thank you all so much for being here. And I also wanted to apologize. This week has been completely crazy for me. And I'm sorry that I had to have this chat a day later than I normally do and also delay my video. My video about the finale is going to be up tomorrow. And because I was out of town, I had to watch the finale on a plane on my phone because I couldn't get to download on my iPad. So it's been pretty crazy. And the whole experience of me being away was crazy in another way. So yes, it's been a very busy time, but I just want to thank you guys for dealing with all of that. And again, I hated it myself because I wanted to be able to watch the show live, and it made me sad that I couldn't do that. So, and I appreciate everyone for not spoiling it for me because it took me basically 24 hours. Well, not 24 hours, but it took me a while, several hours to be able to watch it. And I didn't want anyone to spoil it for me, and none of you did. So thank you so much. But I received a lot of comments from you guys, and some of you, I feel like people either love the finale or they hated it. And I know several of you have asked me, like, what did I think? And I've told a few of you a few things about what I thought, but I wanted to tell you everything that I thought tonight. And I want to know what you guys think. And I know we're all not going to agree, and that's totally fine. Just be honest and tell me what you thought. We're still friends if we don't agree. So I see several of you in the room right now. We have Marge and Sophie, and LG is here. And I know earlier we had Niece and Drin and Tony and Gregory. I don't know if all of you all are still here. Mark. But thank you guys for being here. And I guess for now, you guys can just go ahead and start saying what you thought about the finale. Were you happy with it? Were you not happy with it? And why? And I will start off by saying that Marge loved it. Okay, I thought it was really good. What I thought was great about it, one of the biggest things I thought was great about it was the fact that it was, both of the episodes I thought were great. And I kind of worried that the first hour would be kind of a filler, but it wasn't. I thought the first hour started off amazingly. There was so much action, so much intense drama with Pete and Grace, and I was very excited. No, I never, well, at times I suspected Hester, but if you guys watched my last video and if you were here for the last chat, I didn't have her down, we were down to the end here. I didn't have her as my final suspect. I had thought before that she was Boone's twin because she looked like him. Then when they kind of killed her off, I believed that for a little bit and kind of crossed her off my list. But then she came back. So I don't know, because this show really had you guessing till the end. There were several people they could have gone with and made it believable, I think. If they'd chosen someone other than Hester, I still would have believed it. I think they could have made it believable. But I love the scene with Pete. I think that was one of the best things of the entire season, pretty much, and definitely of the finale. That was awesome. That was intense. And I think we learned that he just wasn't really all together. He was quite insane, But during that scene, I pretty much realized that Grace was out. Like, I had a feeling last week that Grace, it just didn't add up for Grace to be the killer. And after her intense scene with Pete at the beginning of this finale, I was like, I just don't think there's any way she's involved in this, because she would have to be some kind of excellent actress to be acting like she was scared of Pete and all this stuff and then turn around and be the Red Devil. It just really didn't make sense. Tony's saying that Viola Davis from How to Get Away with Murder got nominated for a Golden Globe. That is awesome. And I know she won an award. I know this is kind of off topic, but I know she won an award maybe earlier this year from last year. So she is awesome and deserved it. So Mark said that he loved the first 15 minutes where it was all about Pete. So much was revealed. A main character died and it was super intense. I agree. I think that was the best moment of the entire finale. But I know Mark didn't like it, and that's okay. And you can tell me more, Mark, about what you didn't like about it. That's completely fine. Tony had a feeling that Zadie would survive after seeing Kiki in the Grease Live promo because Fox loves her, and after seeing the Instagram post Jamie Lee posted about how sweet she is. Yeah, I kind of thought she would make it. Now, I know some of you are upset because several characters survived. I will say that just because several characters survived, it doesn't, I don't think, necessarily mean all of them will have a big role in the next season. I'm not really sure what Ryan is going to do with this. And there was always like a debate, like some people, at some point he had said 3 people were going to survive, and maybe at some point he said 4 people were going to survive. And to be completely honest, I haven't read those articles myself. I would just hear that from you guys. So I know some of you guys are upset with him over that. I'm not really upset that a lot of people live because I like a lot of those people. I was pretty shocked to see Pete die, honestly. I wouldn't have been upset if he had made it to the next season. Gosh, thank you guys so much for being here. And there's a lot of comments, and I'm gonna try to get to it. Amy was kind of disappointed that more than 4 characters survived. But I was so glad that Chad and Denise, and come on, their like breakup scene was also one of the best moments from this finale. I felt like the finale was very funny, and I know that bothered some of you, but it didn't bother me because the show started out that way. Like this show, like I've said a million times, even though at times we've taken it seriously, it's really just over the top and really ridiculous. And I think that we should expect it to be that way from now on. And I really think the finale was a good indicator that season 2, and if they have a season 3 and a season 4, they're going to be really silly, over the top. You can't think that this would even happen in real life because, when the girls went to the insane asylum, the Chanels decided, oh my gosh, they loved it here. We know in real life that would never happen, and that it wouldn't be fun in an insane asylum. They wouldn't be running around and, doing whatever they wanted. So CPC, I'm not sure how you say that, is here. Hi. So apparently someone said that Ariana was going to be in the episode and she wasn't. So, I don't know, about some of this stuff. Like, I don't know if this is direct from Ryan, if this was on like Scream Queen social media, or I wish I could comment about like stuff that supposedly Ryan said and that stuff that didn't happen. Because I never saw like any of that stuff, but I would hear it from you guys. So, I mean, if he came out and said it on his Twitter, that some of this stuff, like Ariana was going to be in the episode and then she wasn't, that's kind of weird. I don't really care that she wasn't because we didn't need her, I don't think. But if he blatantly lied about some things and you guys know it came from him, that's a little strange. I don't know. But you guys can send me some of that stuff if you have the articles where he said stuff straight out and then it's something different happened. Okay. The Uncharted Hell's Army really believes Chad wasn't in this enough and they didn't even kill him. Well, I really hope they will utilize Glenn Powell next season in a different, maybe in a better way. I guess what I'm confused about is, I've watched other Ryan Murphy shows like American Horror Story where some of the actors and actresses end up in the next season, but they're always completely different roles and it's a different setting and a different time period a lot of times. So I don't know if the people who survive, I assume they're just going to keep playing the same role they played this season, I guess. So as far as the wiki cast list, I think anyone can edit a wiki cast list. Like I could probably go in and edit it. So I'm not sure how trustworthy those are. And that's probably not coming from Ryan Murphy himself. Okay, Natalia said, it made me the happiest that Zayday survived. Yeah, I really liked her. I thought she was funny. I thought she was really funny in this episode. I thought the whole Wes and the Dean romance / relationship was funny. It was more funny. It was a lot more funny than I expected, honestly, than suspenseful and upsetting and disturbing. And some things were shocking. Like, I was really surprised that they actually blew up the pizza delivery man. Like, I thought after that little thing started laughing, the bomb, I thought it was fake. And then he blew up. But you see, they did it like in a comical way with like kind of like comic book fire, and the mask was like coming at the camera. It's all still very like silly, satirical. So a lot of people didn't like Grace, and Caitlin saying that she kind of hoped that she got killed. I kind of like her. She is a little annoying. I agree with you, but I still like her, and she was pretty much the main character other than, well, Chanel number 1 was probably the star, but she was right under her. So I can kind of understand why she'll be in next season. And the more I thought about Hester being the RD, it made sense to me because you guys know, if any of you have watched Glee, Leah Michelle was a huge, huge star in that show. And I can just totally see Ryan Murphy wanting her to be the villain in this because, I don't know, it makes sense to me. Really, because also, he's worked with Emma a lot in American Horror Story, so I could see either one of them being the villain. So Connor didn't really enjoy the finale. At the end of the first hour when they made us think it was number 5, he was happy, but then when they showed us it was really Hester, didn't like it. Yeah, for a second there, I did think it was going to be number 5. It made sense because it seemed like she made up that she got that Tinder notification so that she could go off and try to kill Hester. Hi, Carter. Thanks for being here. A lot of you just don't like Grace. I'm getting that. Millie says that you guessed that Hester was the RD, but it was pretty obvious. However, love that there weren't any plot holes. Yes. As far as anyone who wants to compare this to Pretty Little Liars and that finale, I feel like there really is no comparison because I had no, I wasn't angry or upset or let down with this. And Pretty Little Liars, I just feel like really is such a different show, and you can't compare the two shows. So I don't know. Natalia seriously thought Wes had something to do with it, although she had a couple of theories of how. I definitely did that. He was the person that I named in my last video as my final theory. I thought he was like the mastermind behind all of this. As you can see, I was not right. He wasn't involved in, actually, he's a good dad. So that was surprising to me. It seems like he is actually a good guy and he actually cares about his daughter. Caitlin says, so if Grace was so sure Hester was the RD, how did it end up they were all best friends in the end? Because I think that Grace actually believes that I think she believes, Hester's scam, and she believes that all the Chanels were involved because Hester just kind of set them all up to make it completely seem like they were involved. And I think that she believes that, but she's probably not going to believe that for long in season 2. Okay, so Carter would have been mad if it was just the Dean's dream. I don't know. Hopefully that's not true. Hopefully that they don't make it that it was all a dream like when the next season starts. Also, I wanted to ask you guys what you thought about the cliffhanger. Honestly, I was kind of surprised by it because I didn't expect at all a cliffhanger, since we're having because I'm not really sure how they're going to do season 2. And I know it's supposed to be like a summer camp theme, but I wasn't expecting a cliffhanger. What I'm wondering is, was that a nightmare that Chanel was having? Or if not, who was that RD? Was that Hester? Or was this telling us that there is another killer? Because I could definitely see them going the route of having someone else be involved, because it would be pretty boring if it was just Hester killing people. And at this point, I don't think that Hester felt like she needed to kill any people. So I think if that was actually happening and not a dream, that they're trying to tell us that there is another RD. Carter says Chanel can't die. I agree. As annoying and terrible as Chanel #1 is, I think that, she is really important to the show and she makes me laugh. Relia wants to know how long we've been streaming, just for about 12 minutes, so you haven't missed that much. Natalia wants to know who's going to be in season 2. I don't think that they have released that. Again, I know some of you guys see stuff on the wiki pages, but I also want to remind you that anyone, I think, can edit that unless I'm wrong. I know that's how it used to be. So people could be adding people and making things up. Maybe some of it's real, maybe not. Niece thinks that Hester will kill the Chanels in the end. Yeah, she probably could, because she's completely insane, guys. I mean, completely. Teens Can Vlog thought the episode was great. I also thought it was great. I loved it. And if you guys are just joining in, I thought it was funny. I didn't think it wasn't my ideal finale, but I honestly didn't have any complaints or problems with any of it, because as much as I kind of wanted Grace to be the RD from the beginning, I had told myself I was going to be happy with whoever it was, unless it was someone very insignificant. If they had made Melanie the RD, which they kind of hinted at in the first hour, I didn't believe that she would be, but if she had been, I would have been livid, because we don't even know that girl. That's the most airtime she'd had. If the maid was, the RD or something, that would have made me really mad. So Andy hated the episode. Why did you hate it, Andy? Yeah, Connor says anyone can edit a wiki page. So if you saw, I don't know where, a lot of you have been saying, or a few of you have been saying that Ryan told lies about basically what was going to happen in the finale. So can you tell me where that is? If it was on a wiki page, I don't think we can trust that. But if it was on his, confirmed Twitter or on the Scream Queen social media, let me see that, because that would make me upset if he told us specific things and then those specific things didn't happen, Chloe Grace Moretz would be perfect for season 2, says Tony. Yeah, I could definitely see her doing that. That's a really good call. Andy says the ending wasn't original at all. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the ending. The only thing that would make me interested in that ending is if there is going to be another Red Devil, which I feel like that's what they're hinting at. Because if next season is all about, Hester, we already know she's the Red Devil. So if she kills more people, and I don't think she feels the need to kill more people because she has everything her way, at least for now. She feels like she's with her family. She knows who her dad is. She knows Grace is her half-sister. She's happy in the sorority. Hi, Brittany. Thank you so much for joining us from Australia. And I know that the time, I can't even imagine what time it is there. Probably really early in the day. So thank you. The shoe and the eye scene, Carter, I thought was funny. I just thought the whole thing was hilarious because she was looking through a medical book, Hester was, and it showed you how you could put a shoe in your eye but not blind yourself, which obviously There's no book out there like that, and that was just so silly to me, and I loved it. Caitlin says all her friends hate this show, but she's obsessed. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's two different people when it comes to this show. At least there have been, when it first started. There was people who wanted to take it really literally and got upset when silly things would happen because that wouldn't happen in the real world. And you have to look at it differently. You can't look at it that way. And there's some people that gave up on it like right at the beginning. But I know some of you have stuck with it and really loved it and then hated it after this finale. And there are some people who, when we're talking about Pretty Little Liars, a lot of you watch that. Some people loved, I guess, that finale. So every show's finale isn't going to make, everyone happy. So for those of you who hated it, that's totally fine. I mean, if you decide not to watch season 2, that's completely your decision. But for me, I thought it was good. Millie says Hester was pretty obvious after all. She was a brunette like Boone, obsessed with death, really shrewd. Grace would have been an amazing and unexpected RD. I agree with you. And I really did feel like they would go the route of someone unexpected. But again, people have been saying that Ryan Murphy said, and I think maybe I saw this, that it was super simple. And when I tried to tell you guys in my last videos last week, like, I feel like it is going to be a simple person and something that they made pretty obvious. And if you go back and watch the episodes, it was actually pretty obvious that Hester would be the killer and the twin. It does make sense. Okay, so I know that a lot of you are commenting and I love it so much. And if I skip over you, I just want you to comment again because I can't, they all start scrolling by and I can't see them all. So I'm not trying to skip you, just keep commenting. Okay, this is a good question that Mark is asking, which I thought they were going to reveal because they kind of started to talk about it, but they didn't. He wants to know who killed Sam. I'm assuming that, well, okay, so Hester said she didn't kill her. So he says Boone, it wasn't Boone because she knew whoever it was, but he was supposed to be dead. Not Peter Hester because they said they didn't kill her. Not Gigi because she was never a murdering RD. Now, I think there is another Red Devil. That is what I think. I think that they kind of hinted at it a little bit. I can't remember who did this in the finale. So it's very likely there's someone else who we know who's the main character who's a Red Devil. That is my thought on that. Natalia says Boone was one of her favorite characters and she was sad when he died a couple of episodes ago. I don't think we'll see Nick Jonas next season. I think he's kind of a special, what do you call those? He was making a special appearance. There's a word for that. I can't think of it, where he's just supposed to be in a couple episodes and that's it for him. But yeah, I liked him. Andy says that Ryan Murphy said they wrote and shot 3 different endings, which makes sense because there are holes even in Hester being the killer. Yeah, Andy, tell me what the holes are in Hester being the killer. As far as, I think it was Dren who mentioned that the ending, the finale, and everything that happened was spoiled, I guess, on the Scream Queens Facebook by somebody. So that's why I never read spoilers to you guys, because sometimes these, plots get leaked by people who work with the show. Special guest star. Thank you. Thank you, Millie. Thank you, Tony. So I hate to read them like in live chats or anything like that when you guys post them, because sometimes that comes true. And I don't know if they actually did shoot 3 different endings or if he realized that people had leaked the actual ending and therefore they started to say things like, oh yeah, we shot different ones, so you don't know which one it'll be, because he got a little bit nervous that it was out there. That's kind of what I feel, but I don't know. And that's again why I never try to read. I don't like to read spoilers myself, just because sometimes they're true. I've read a lot from other shows that end up happening, and I want to be surprised, So I don't know if there really were 2 other endings, but with the show, they definitely could have made 2 other endings because there were so many people that it really could have been. Mark wanted to know, how did any of the Red Devils know Zayday like Oakland nachos? Zayday only told Grace. That's true, but kind of with when they went back and showed Pete going around getting the DNA samples, Hester could have been in the background listening, spying on people, but we didn't see it, that, the camera didn't show us that, so that she could have been listening to that conversation in some way. She could have had that room, like, with a camera or some kind of microphone, listening device, recording device, so that she could hear people's conversations. She was completely crazy. Okay. Marge thinks the show is absurd, and that's the essence of it, so it makes complete sense that the RD was such an obvious character. And I think you've summed it up. I think that's exactly right. There may be some plot holes, but I don't think they're major. And if there are some, I think it's because, again, the show's ridiculous. The stuff going on. I mean, Chanel bought that snake and you know, to kill herself. That's so silly. It's so over the top. The whole breakup scene with Chad and Denise was ridiculous. You know, it's supposed to be ridiculous. Okay. And I think that they did a good job of having it being ridiculous, but not so ridiculous that no one cared who the killer was. Because I think we all legitimately wanted to know who the killer was. Now, Teens Can Vlogs asked me what I'm going to post now that the show is over. Well, I probably am going to take just a tiny break for the holidays because it's about that time. That's a very good question, though. Pretty Little Liars comes back, I believe, January 11th, and How to Get Away with Murder comes back in February, so definitely be doing both of those. And I'm hooked into Quantico now. I don't remember how many of you told me to watch it. I'm completely caught up. So I'm going to wait till that season starts again, which will be a while now because it's still going on. And I'm going to cover Quantico as well. And I might throw in one more show. I'll have to see. Yeah, I'm still wondering what the plot holes are. Let's see. Hold on here. Andy says Hester says she wanted revenge, but she killed everyone except the Chanels and the Dean who were directly responsible. Well, on that point, I will say she feels like she has gotten revenge on the Chanels because they were found guilty of stuff that they didn't do and they were sent to the insane asylum. Now, what she doesn't know is that they really enjoy it there, but she remember growing up there and she freaking hated her life. So she thinks that's kind of what they're going to be dealing with, and they'll hate being away from social media and from guys and stuff, but that's not what's going on. As far as the Dean, she's able to blackmail her, as you saw in the end, because she knows that she killed her ex-husband, and she knows if she says anything to her, she will, like, destroy her. Although that's not really a huge punishment for the Dean because the Dean is free and can live her life. I just feel like she kind of has her where she wants her. If there were only 4 survivors, Tony's asking who would you have wanted them to be? Well, Denise probably because she's just so funny and amazing. Chanel number 1. Chad because I think he's hilarious. And this is really hard. You know, I kind of like Grace, even though I know she annoys you, but a lot of you, but I like her better than like Chanel 5 and Chanel 3, to be honest. Hell's Army says, I think she killed everyone only for the fact that the Chanels would go to prison. Maybe she thought that prison was worse than death. I agree with you. And I think she was probably very satisfied, like I said, with the fact that they went to that same mental institution where she grew up and you saw the kind of life she had in there. She, you know, hated everything, hated being in there, and that was kind of a hell for her. She probably thought she was sending them kind of to the same terrible place. So Mark thought the finale was really boring. There was no real climax to any of it, and super sad that Hester never got to take off the Red Devil mask. Yeah, it did seem like in the promo that somebody was going to get unmasked, but that didn't really happen. All we heard was her thoughts. Relia rewatched episode 1 and wrote down a few things that why we should have guessed Hester was the killer. Yes, I do want to hear some. Please tell me. Denise wants to know if we can talk about Denise working for the FBI. I think that's hilarious. Carter also is mentioning the cops who were strippers, but they were former strippers, but they were still in their stripper clothing. I thought it was so funny. I mean, I just thought that was kind of what, to me, it was what the finale was, what was best or what is best about this show, because I think some episodes were a little bit boring and weren't that funny, but the very first episode was hilarious to me and I loved it and it really hooked me in, and the finale to me was the same, and it just reminded me of when I first started watching it and how much I loved it, because I love, you know, who doesn't love laughing, but I love things that are, I love really witty shows and well-written shows, and I felt like these last 2 episodes were just perfect. They were perfectly hilarious, in my opinion. CPCs expected more from the finale because the season was fantastic. The first half was amazing, but the second half felt kind of rushed. Yeah, the second half, there were a couple of episodes which I thought there was one that they kind of focused all on the Dean and that Feather girl, which I felt like was a real waste of time and that probably should have been thrown out. Hi, Esther. Thank you so much for joining us today. Connor says, it's so funny how Denise was a security guard and then she became a cop within 2 seconds. Remind you of someone from PLL. Yes, Toby. But in this situation, I think it's just ridiculous that she moved up the ladder that fast, and that was just part of it being ridiculous and silly and not in real life. Tony, yes, I freaked out when Denise said she was on her way to Quantico because I was like, oh my gosh, did she just say Quantico? I know she wasn't talking about the show, but it was funny. Nadia didn't realize that Pete was dead. Okay, I hope you've seen the finale because if not, we've totally spoiled everything for you. Or maybe you meant that you didn't realize at first he was dead when he first got kind of stabbed by the Red Devil. And I know I should watch Scream, Dren says, because it's really good and makes sense and good writing. And a lot of you told me to watch that. And I think I've only missed one season, so I could totally do that when I have some time off here. So thank you. Pastel Ellie, hi, how are you? Thanks for being here. Teens Can Vlog loves Denise. I do too. And I'm really hoping that she will be back. I don't know because she's not a main character, you know, and I know that Niecy Nash is involved in a lot of projects and stuff. So I don't know if her schedule will be free for next season, but I think if she's not like in it a ton like she was this season, she'll definitely have some guest appearances, you know, some not really cameos, but guest appearances, I guess. Okay, let's go back to some of your comments. So Andy says that he loved the comedy too, but the issue was just the killer reveal was not up to par with how everyone else was. Shocking, surprising, and original. I get it. I had hoped, like I've said, that someone like Grace or Wes or somebody that wasn't obvious was going to be the killer. But after Ryan came out and said, you know, it is obvious, I kind of started thinking, especially after last week's episode, it really didn't seem like Grace was involved, and that's why I switched my theory. And then I thought, well, Wes is probably the mastermind. But part of the things that I was telling you guys about Pete is true because his motivation behind being involved in killing people was that he was the underdog, and then he thought sororities and fraternities were evil, and he had been humiliated and rejected by Chanel No. 1. Pretty much everything that I had said in my last video, except that I thought that Wes was manipulating his anger and resentment. But in fact, he kind of got blackmailed by like Gigi and Boone, and I think just Gigi and Boone, to kill people because they were going to kill him if he didn't kill people. But he felt good about it. It wasn't like he was forced to kill these people. That's the thing. Like that just shows you like how off of a person he was because he felt justified in killing these evil, you know, fraternity people and people who felt better than other people, you know? So yeah, there's a season 2, Pastel. I think your name's Ellie, but it might not be pronounced that way. Tell me if not. Hating that Hester got away with everything, says my charm. But come on, guys, there's more to this, and she might not get away with it in season 2. Carter is confused because when Grace fought the Red Devil after Pete died, that was Hester, and I don't feel like Hester could be capable of that. But I don't know about that because, like I said earlier, I think there's another Red Devil that I think there's been another Red Devil the entire time, and I think it's going to be one of the main characters. So I think we shouldn't get too upset about Hester being the Red Devil. I think there's another one, and I think that may have been the person who was the one who was attacking Grace. Now, obviously, I don't think it's Grace, but I think some of our other ideas could be true. I mean, you know, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm sorry. I don't know why when I always do these shows, like something makes my face itch. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm talking to you guys. It makes my face itch. I'm so sorry. It's so weird. Teen School Vlog hates how the dean is now with Grace's dad. It is a gross relationship, but I think they're going again with the comedy, being silly, like it wouldn't happen in real life. It's so ridiculous. I mean, obviously at first Wes was grossed out about hooking up with her. And then he realized that, oh my God, he loves her and she's amazing and they need to date because that wouldn't happen in real life. It's so silly. It's so over the top. It's ridiculous. So Mark is confused. Either Hester has gotten away with everything and the Chanels were totally screwed over because the show is an anthology, or else Ryan lied again in season 2 is just a continuation. Well, from the ending, it looks like season 2 is a continuation. So I don't know. That's what I'm a little bit confused about that because, to be honest, when this first started, I thought from the stuff that I had read, it was going to be handled the way American Horror Story is handled. If any of you watch that, you know that he carries over actors and actresses into other seasons, but they have different names. It's a different plot. It's a different story altogether. It's in a different city, and a lot of times it's in a different time. So that's what I thought he was going to do with Scream Queens. But then I started seeing things that, you know, people were going to actually be themselves, I guess, in the next season. So now it seems like it is going to be a continuation, like a regular show, but then it's supposed to have a theme of summer camp. So I guess I'm just going to have to wait to see and read some articles about how they're going to handle season 2 because I'm not sure. Fantasy Godiva says maybe Denise is right. Maybe Red Devil really is Zayday. She definitely could have had the time to be there to attack Grace, and she's very unsuspecting. So it would be funny. And you know what else is funny is that even in the finale, Denise was like, I still feel like the Red Devil is Zayday, but she had all that information about the Chanel, so she was like, I guess they're the Red Devil, but I still think it's Zayday. So it would be really funny if she's been saying that all along and she was actually right. So Nadia says they didn't say anything about Jennifer's death. They really didn't. And Nadia, honestly, maybe that's a clue. Maybe Jennifer is the Red Devil, That is really strange that they didn't say anything about her death. So Jamie Lee also getting the Golden Globe nomination for Scream Queens, and I thought that she was really funny. That's to me, it was very funny. Her character was so funny. I don't know. So I think she deserves it. Natalia says, so happy your live stream was today because in Guatemala they air episodes on Wednesdays, so not watch them because of spoilers. Okay, well, I'm so glad you're happy because I felt bad that I had to push it a day later. So at least one person can benefit from this. That's great. Thank you. So Dren says, before watching the finale, I suspected Hester being the killer, mainly because of the many interviews that Leah Michelle did about the finale. So there was no surprise to me. And I know that you wrote that down as your answer for my giveaway. I was just going through and writing down everyone who got it correct. I haven't been able to write everyone down because I ran out of time, but I wanted to let you guys know if you entered for my giveaway for the Live Nation gift cards, I will be announcing those 2 winners tomorrow in my video, which goes live, which is the recap and my thoughts about the finale. So you want to watch till the end to see if your name is called, but obviously if you didn't choose Hester, it's not going to be you, but maybe you'll just watch because you enjoy these kind of things. Andy, thank you so much for saying the best part of Scream was discussing it with me and the rest of my streaming. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I have so much fun doing this, and I was freaking out because I couldn't talk to you guys before today about it because I wanted to know what your thoughts were about the finale. So doing the live chats to me is almost more fun than doing the videos because I can immediately get feedback from you guys and get ideas for theories and stuff, and I really love it. You didn't know anything about the giveaway, Raelia? Yeah, I announced it in my last video, my not the live chat, but in the recap, and I had the information below, but sadly it's over now. But anyway, all that information was in the last video, so make sure you're subscribed to this channel because if you just come here for the live chats, I also do a video that I tape that I talk about more in depth about my thoughts and feelings about every episode. And that is where I described the details of the contest, and also in the information box, I had all that information there, but you had to have your answers in obviously before the finale aired. So I'm sorry if you guys missed it, and just be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. I've had the giveaways before, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. I also talked about that on Twitter. I know some of you guys don't have a Twitter, but if you do, you definitely want to follow me because a lot of you were asking on my channel, like, where's my live stream yesterday? Where's my video? I announced several times on Twitter that kind of stuff and why it was late. So if you follow me on Twitter, if you don't have a Twitter, you can just Google me, Kellie_TV. You can look at my stream to see if you don't, you're like, why is she not on doing a live stream? I would go to Twitter because I always will post there first and say, here's what's going on. So make sure you're following me. Again, if you're not, you can always Google Kellie_TV on Twitter if you're confused or have a question or you're like, what's going on? And that way you will find out. Jennifer is the candle vlogger, Marge, who was killed and put candles were all around her. Millie, have you watched Quantico? Because that is my latest obsession. Thanks to you guys for recommending it. I actually have watched almost all of it free on the ABC app. I don't know if you live in the US, but it's free here. It's obsessive or I'm obsessed with it because it's one of those things where you try to figure out who is the bad guy or girl. It has been amazing from the very first episode, and this season just started this year, so you really aren't that behind. I watched it all in a week. That's how into it I got. I think there's been 9 or 10 episodes so far. Okay, let's see. Pete killed Boone. Now, that's a good question, Teens Can Vlog. We're trying to figure out who Pete killed. Well, Pete killed... I guess he killed Roger. Now, he was confused. He was like, did I kill Roger or Dodger? He killed the one who was with Chanel number 5, so whoever her boyfriend was. he killed Boone. I don't know if he killed, I feel like, who killed Gigi? I feel like Hester might have killed Gigi. I don't know. Gigi is missed. Wish that she had survived, says Tony. I kind of liked her. I thought she was so ridiculous. Again, a ridiculous character. I think, like, for me, I would love to be a character in that show because you can be so funny and so silly. I would just love that. Drin, did you really write Chanel number 6 and not Hester? Okay, I'll have to go back and look at that because I was going through them kind of quickly as I was getting ready to do this live stream because I want to put all of your names who got it right into random number generator, but I will look at it again. I don't know how I screwed that up. So Mark says when Zayday was kidnapped, somehow Grace knew, but on a campus where murders are taking place every moment and someone disappears, certainly wouldn't think they were kidnapped. You know, there were to me a lot of things that pointed in our direction or in the direction of Grace, especially with, to me, one of the biggest things that they really didn't explain was when she met up with the Red Devil and she claimed that she was meeting up with Pete, yet, you know, with the outfit she had on, we realized that she hadn't even met Pete yet. So that was weird to me, you know? So that is one thing I could point out that doesn't really add up unless they end up trying to make sense of it in next season. So yeah. Carter says Hester was late to Chad's house because she killed Gigi. I think you're right, Carter. I do think that it was her. I don't remember if it was mentioned in the finale that she for sure did it. I don't know where. I feel like I got that from the finale somewhere. Someone's hoping that Grace dies and yeah, Hester killed Gigi, says Tara. Someone saying that, hoping that Grace dies in season 2. I don't know. You know, I don't hate Grace, but whatever. Jennifer just got here. We've been talking for about 37 minutes, but that's okay because we'll talk a little bit longer. Oh, okay, Drin. Yes, Chanel 6 is Hester, and you did say Chanel 6. Right, so you're still in the drawing. Okay, I was like, I could have sworn that you said Hester, but you just said it as her Chanel name, which totally works. I would have accepted Chanel number 6 or Hester. All right. Marge says funny that so many people didn't like Grace because she was only one of the few rational people in the show. Yeah, you're right. Honestly, Grace was never ridiculous. She was never funny, I don't think. Maybe a little. She wasn't over the top. I think that's funny. Nadia wants to know if I liked the episode overall. The finale, yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was funny and witty, and I was happy with it. Hell's Army said it would be a cool twist for her to take on another role next season in the summer camp, like the Crazy Girl or something. Yeah, and again, I'm just wondering what Ryan's going to do with this next season. Like, is it going to be the same people and the same storyline? Because I really didn't think it was going to be that way, but then with that cliffhanger and everything, I thought they were going to resolve everything with this story, but they didn't. So I don't know. Teen School Vlog says Grace wanted to kill the dean, so don't think she is that innocent. She did. She really wanted to kill the dean, but I really don't think that she could have been one of the Red Devils. I mean, after seeing the finale, I think it's going to be very crazy if they try to make it sound like she was all along one of the Red Devils. And Natalia, yes, I saw your comment about you being able to watch, and I'm so glad you're able to catch this live. That is so awesome. Mark says the only reason he liked Grace was because you thought she was the Red Devil, but now that she wasn't involved in anything, don't care for her at all. Yeah, I mean, I understand. I wanted her to be the Red Devil. I really did, because I felt like it would just be so shocking, you know? Jennifer thinks that she's still involved. I would just love it so much. Nadia hates cliffhangers and waiting because Pretty Little Liars messed that up. Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with it. I'm kind of interested to see, like, how that plays out. So, well, I'm really interested. But, you know, I guess they felt like they needed to do a cliffhanger because they wanted people to come back for season 2. And if they totally resolved the storyline and just went with a totally new storyline, maybe people wouldn't watch. I mean, maybe they feel like they have an older audience for American Horror Story because at the end of those seasons, they wrap everything up completely. They don't come back to it. So, but people still watch the show. So maybe they felt like they needed to give more of a cliffhanger. Andy says they never explained how the dean survived the attempts on her life. So did Hester tip her off? Well, that's a good question. A really good question. I don't know why Hester would want to help her because she obviously doesn't like her, you know? Hi, Carrie. Thank you for being here. Carrie thinks the reason we didn't see if Chanel died or not is because Ryan Murphy wants to see if she'd like to play in a new season of American Horror Story, and if not, she can come back to Scream Queens. Okay, That is, I like that. That makes a lot of sense to me because she's been in a few of the American Horror Stories. I'm not watching this season, but I know I read something where Ryan said she was going to be in the end of this season. So like a real bit like guest appearance in that. But, I think that's good because they could start it out and she could shoot something in season 2 and end up dying if she's a major player in the season of American Horror Story. So that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if that's what they're gonna do, but that definitely makes a lot of sense to me. Nadia thinks that Chanel number 5 like totally crazy in this episode. She acted completely crazy, but again, I thought it was funny. Like she started having a breakdown. She was just like, I've been through all this stuff with Roger and Dodger, and she was like crying. And the whole thing with Tinder and the fake Nickelback person, like it was so funny to me, I just think it was so funny. Carter says that once Hester turned to the treasurer of the house, she had a completely new look. She went to windbreakers, to couture, to t-shirts. Yeah, and I think it's funny that she's wearing the eye patch and that her injury isn't even real. I mean, I guess it's healed now. It's just so silly. And I think the fact that she stabbed herself in the eye with that really nice designer stiletto is perfect and so ridiculous. We're gonna go till 6:45, so we have just like 4 more minutes here. So thank you guys so much for being here. And again, I'm gonna have a probably kind of long video going up tomorrow with all of my thoughts. My Twitter is in the down bar, but it is Kellie_TV. So again, if you are on Twitter, or if you ever look at Twitter, you want to make sure you follow me on there or bookmark it or something, because all of the information that a lot of you needed to know this week was on there about, this chat being a day late and the video being up a little bit later and etc. So that will help you not be confused if something like that happens in the future. And I'm loving all your comments. So if we run out of time and I did not see your comment, just make sure you comment on this video. It'll go up live in like 5 minutes after it ends. And I will go back tonight and respond to all of you guys. Yeah, thanks, Tony. Tweet the hashtag Kellie TV. I love it. All right, Jennifer says maybe Grace is the secret mastermind and just pretended to be friends with everyone, and the real RDs don't know that Grace is a part of it. I think Grace is a strange character. I have always thought that about her. If I had written the show, I would have made her my villain. But maybe, Ryan's a really smart guy, and maybe he has a bigger plan for her. Thank you, Nadia. That is really nice. My Charm says, glad that they didn't go with the transgender killer like PLL. Completely agree. Was not going to be liking it if they did another, the same PLL finale. Millie says, just realized the fact that Hester called Chanel mom might have been because of her mom dying. Yeah, that's true. Uncharted Hell's Army says maybe Grace pretended to be innocent when Pete revealed himself because she knew Hester was in the closet. Maybe she is a secret killer. I like that. And she was done with Pete, so I don't think she would have cared if he died, to be honest. And it was a little weird that she was able to overpower this Red Devil. It seemed crazy to me. She was kind of like a ninja. But I thought, this show's ridiculous. So for her to be able to fight off the Red Devil, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. Carter's very sad it's over. Love these chats. This is the first one you've been able to attend. Carter, if you watch some of the other shows that I watch, I am going to do live chats for those, like Pretty Little Liars. When How to Get Away with Murder comes back in February, because they're taking like their mid-season break, I will start doing video or chats on those as well as videos. So if you guys want to catch up on How to Get Away with Murder and Quantico, that's the kind of stuff I'm watching. You probably don't want to catch up on Pretty Little Liars because it's honestly not very good, and it's been going on for 500 years, and you would want to kill yourself if you watch that much. Let's see. Brittany says Hester let Grace go because she's her actual sister. Exactly. And if you heard what Pete said, he said the plan all along was never to hurt her, never to kill her. Grace, loves in a weird way. I'm sorry, Hester in a weird way loves Grace because that's her family. You heard her say that at the end. And she loves Wes because that's her real dad. And she just wishes her mom had not died so they could be a real family. I know you guys want me to do vlogs, and I probably should have done them when I was gone earlier in this week, and I just forget to do them. I need to do them again, though. It was fun. Nadia, I don't have a Snapchat, but that's something I should definitely do because I know a lot of you have asked me to do that. So maybe when I'm having a couple weeks off, I will have time to set one of those up. Mark says both Pete and Hester winked at the camera in the opening credits that basically gave away the killers. Well, as annoying as that may seem, I think it makes sense because Ryan has said all along, it's simple to figure out. And again, this show isn't to be taken literally. So I think that's kind of him laughing at us, being like, hey, I put it right out in your faces. You should have figured it out. That's kind of what I think. Relia, a vlog is something that a lot of people on YouTube do where it's not like a sit down and taping something. They're like showing you their daily lives, like at the grocery store or at the mall or whatever. My upcoming live chats will be when Pretty Little Liars returns in January, I think 11th, and February, sometime in February, How to Get Away with Murder is starting back up. I'm going to do live chats for that. The only other show that I watched that I know is coming back soon is the show Younger, which I think is amazing. It's on TV Land, but it's nothing like any of these shows because there's no like bad guys or anything. It's a really cute drama. If any of you watch that and would like to do, like for me to do videos or live chats, you can let me know because I really love that show, but it's just really different. My Charm's asking if I still watch Pretty Little Liars. Honestly, don't like it. I didn't like the preview, but I'm going to give it a chance just because I've watched every single episode and I'm trying to finish it out. I will try. So it's really past time for me to go. And I just want to thank you guys so much for all of your support and for being here through the entire season of Scream Queens. And someone saying Scream Queens has not been, what's the word, like green-lighted for season 2. So I don't know. Yeah, Dren's saying it's not confirmed. Marge, I did a Pretty Little Liars video just like a couple weeks ago, so check my channel. But anyway, so I don't even know if there'll be a season 2 because the ratings weren't that good, to be honest. So let's hope there is. I mean, I hope there is. I know some of you probably do. So I am going to watch PLL when it comes back. I will try, unless it gets too ridiculous. I'm going to try to finish out that series. But anyway, yes, thank you, Tony, and happy holidays to all of you. And you will be seeing me tomorrow. And some of you possibly could be the lucky winners of the Live Nation gift cards. And you want to watch to find out. And I'll give you more of my thoughts more in depth in this video that goes up tomorrow. But anyway, I'll still be around on social media after that, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. So follow me on that kind of stuff if you're on there so we can still keep in touch. But for all of you who celebrate, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful new year. And then it'll be time for Pretty Little Liars, and I'll be seeing you guys all the time for those of you who watch it and the other shows that I cover. So love you guys so much, and thanks for being so awesome and just being something that makes, you know, my day brighter just by talking to you guys. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Bye, guys.